I'm going to read your mind in today's video and guess that you probably have products on your Amazon store that are simply not selling. You have been doing Amazon for a bit, you're ordering products, sending things in, but for some reason you're not seeing the results that you think you should be seeing. There's two reasons to this. Either you're buying products that are simply not selling, and we're going to fix that in today's video, or you're simply just not spending enough money, you're not buying enough products. So if that's your issue, then there you go, that's your issue. I solved it within 2 seconds. But if your other issue is simply you're buying stuff and they're not selling through, they're not moving like you think they are, I'm going to pretty much pinpoint exactly why the different cases that could be, and we're going to fix them in today's video. Because when it really boils down to this, not making sales on Amazon, typically what's happening is you're fighting for sales, but you're not competitive, okay? You're not pricing competitively, you're not using FBA as your fulfillment service, or there's just simply not enough demand on the listing, and there's too many people selling it, or the listing is literally just not selling at all. And this is what's always going to be leading to you having no sales. Quite simply, this is pretty much your fix right away. So let's pinpoint it exactly. So for starters, your product selection is potentially off. Your problem is you're sourcing products without using the 90% RTR. All 90% RTR means is your risk to reward. You need to be 90% in your favor pretty much all the time you buy a product. This is going to mitigate any potential price tanking. It's also going to mitigate the chances of offers spiking, right? Obviously, we can't fully control these, but as long as they are in 90% in our favor, then we're going to be in the green and we're likely going to want to be buying those products. So the reward must be 90% in your favor. In order to do this, you need to be factoring in your offers. So the offers on the listing, how many people are currently selling that product, what that product is selling at, what has happened historically to it, and how bad is it affected with the sale price. So this goes back to in-depth product analysis. And what I'm going to do is show you a couple different examples here and kind of show you why and what happens and where you need to be profitable at a certain point of a product's life cycle for you to go ahead and buy that product and sell it on your own store. So for starters, if we look at a product like this, again, in simple terms, this right here is simply the price. This is sales per month. And then this is going to be the offers. So up here, I'm looking at this pink line right here. That's it. Over here, I'm looking at this yellow line right here, which is actually, looks like it's actually hidden. You can see it slightly right there, but for the most part, it's hidden, which means it's selling less than 50 a month. The other thing I'm looking at here is this blue line right here. This is, those three things are going to be the most important things on any Keepa chart. So let me get rid of these now that we know what we're looking at. As we jump into this chart right here, we can clearly see that at a point of time with this product, there looked like there was about maybe 20-ish offers on this product right here at that peak. We can also see that what happened to this product right here when the offer spiked. The product looked like it dropped to right around that $15 price point. Even though today this product is selling at about $22, $23, I need to make sure that if I'm buying it today with less offers on it and I'm profitable right here, I also need to be at the very least break even over here. Otherwise, if I'm not, then I'm not within a 90% RTR, which means there's a high likelihood that potentially this offer count, right? Obviously, if we see a product that's profitable and this offer count is going to maybe potentially come back up because other people could also see the product, and we do get back to a point where right here and this price does fall back down to right around here, if I'm losing money there, then we are not, we are below a 90% RTR, okay? However, if we are profitable here, maybe not as profitable as over here, maybe this right here is a 60% and over here is only a 20% ROI, this would still be within that 90% RTR and it would still be worth it for me to test buy that product. So that in terms is what that chart looks like. Now, if you look at this product right here, we can see it looks a lot different because in this product, there's way more offers at a certain point. It looks like there was almost about 100 different people selling this listing at this time. And we can see the price did take a pretty big dip here. So again, supply goes up, price comes down, right? There's just too much supply there to not enough demand. Now, this is a lot of this is a lot of sellers on the listing. And the price did drop quite a bit, but it would have dropped much more if this wasn't selling, 2,000-ish times a month during this time, right? We're selling much faster on this listing, and we can see that with the yellow line. We can see that during this time, it was selling about 1,000 times, then it was down to about 500. It looks like now it's right around maybe 700-ish on that listing. So we can see how that's affected by the price, right? As the price is cheaper, it sells more. The reason that the price is cheaper is because there's more offers on here, right? It's all correlated. As the offers drop, there's less people selling it, the price goes up. However, as the price goes up here, the demand for it slowly, falls off. Less people want to buy it when it's more expensive. There's less customers buying this product at, $20 versus at $15, right? Obviously, it just makes sense. That's in terms what analysis is. So again, going back to our rule, knowing how we need to analyze this with the 90% RTR, we need to be profitable here, just in case the offers go back up, right? Again, we can't control if that's going to happen or not. We don't know if there's going to be new offers. What we can control is taking a look at the history of the product and making sure that, okay, if we do come back down to this low price, are we at least still making some money, or are we losing a lot of money? If we are losing a lot of money here, then again, we would be below the 90% RTR. In my opinion, it might not be worth it to buy, or at the very least, buy a good amount of product. Maybe you want to buy a little bit just in case, but either way, we'd be below 90% RTR. And likely what you could be doing in these situations is buying products right here when they're very profitable. Okay, you want to sell it at this high point, but by the time you get it checked in, the offer count climbs, this price might drop a bit, and now you're at break even, but you don't want to lose money on a product, so you're sitting on it, waiting for it to go back up, and it's going to take months and months and months for that product to recover. We can even see right here, it took nearly 5 months from this spread right here for the price to recover. That is not what we want to do. We want to be moving through our products, so we still want to be profitable at this point in case that does happen, so we can actually sell through and not sit on product, right? You're not getting sales because, again, going back to what we started with, you are not being competitive because the offers and the price of that product just simply changed within 3 weeks by the time you got it sent in. And now you're waiting for it to recover, and it's going to take much too long. It's going to take way too long, and that is why you're not seeing sales on some of your listings. Whereas if you were still profitable here, it'd be okay to send the product in, and you're still going to sell it for profit, but at least you're recouping that money and throwing it into new products, because these products that you find will end up recovering, but you don't want to be sitting on it till it recovers. You want to be buying it again as it's recovering because it's in your nest of products. Going back to that sustainable approach, we're tracking our products as they're becoming profitable again. Then we're going to go ahead and reorder those products. Then later on, these products are always going to resurface. So if you can pay attention to just these big 3 things right here, we're going to be in a much better situation. So the big 3, this is how we're going to look at products. Is there competitors on the listing? Okay, when we see competitors, we know it's arbitrageable, right? A lot of competitors right here. Clear sign that that's something that we want to be potentially selling on because other people are also selling it, right? Does the chart look arbitrageable? Well, when we see this, a ton of offers up, then offers go down, then offers go back up, right? I'm looking at right here. So we see offers go up, offers go down like this. There's clearly a ton of sellers on it. This is extremely arbitrageable. That looks very, very, very arbitrageable. And then the last thing we look at, is it going to be easy to spend money? That's another thing that you can factor in, which we're going to touch on here in a second, right? Are you ordering this from a spot that lets you order however many units you want, right? Are we buying this from places like Walmart, Home Depot, large manufacturing websites, or are we buying these products from Walgreens where you can only get 12 units at a time? Okay, that's another thing you're going to factor in as you begin to scale out and you build your catalog and you find new products from new sources. It's going to get a lot easier to do that. So this is typically the biggest issue I see. Obviously, there is more issues to this. Another one being not fully relying on one ASIN to make you all your money. This could be another reason why your products aren't selling. Okay, let's just use an example right here. Let's pretend that you are selling one ASIN and you have 100 units of that one ASIN, so you have 100 total units in stock, versus another seller that has 10 different ASINs, they have 10 units of each, and they have 100 units total. So both sellers have 100 total units. However, one seller has 10 different products and this other seller has one product. Let's weigh the pros and cons of both situations and why, if you're trying to shoot for this, you're going to be hurting. And this is another reason why you wouldn't be seeing sales, versus if you're in this situation, you would be seeing a lot more sales, especially more consistently. So there's 3 things that we can boil this down to. The first one is the ease of sourcing. Okay, which one of these is easier to find? Most people would think that finding one product and buying a ton of units would be easier to find, but you're honestly wrong. If we find one product that sells 100 times a month, that product is going to have to sell at a quicker pace in order for us to sell 100 units. So it has to have a much better sales rank versus this one, because we need to sell 100 units within a month. Not all these products are going to be selling 100 times a month, but we can easily sell potentially 10 units of it. It is a lot easier to find products that sell about 50 times a month versus products that sell 500 times a month, okay? These are much harder to find. This is much easier to find. I think, in my opinion, it'd be easier to find 10 products that look like this versus one product that looks like this. Now, not only is it easier to find these products, but also these are going to give us higher ROIs. Okay, even when we do find them, we're going to be seeing ROIs 60%, 80%, 100% versus these 500 a month. We'd be lucky to scratch by with about a 30% ROI. We'd be lucky in this situation to get something like that. So obviously the clear answer here is to have a much larger catalog. Now that's for sourcing purposes. The other thing that's going to be very important here is ordering the product. This goes back to the last one, right? most websites will let you buy 10 units of a product with ease, even 20 units and upwards. But when you start trying to buy 100 units of one item from a random beauty website or like Target or something like that, they're going to be canceling your orders left and right, canceled orders. This is going to be common. You're making your life harder by trying to buy 100 units of one item versus just finding 10 different ASINs that sell slower, that give you higher ROI, that aren't going to give you problems with order cancel. It's going to be easier to recoup that inventory, especially long term as you build out and you start ordering lots of units. If you keep trying to do this over and over again, eventually you're going to start seeing order cancels, whereas here, you're not. Okay, so it's clearly making a lot more sense for ordering. It's easier to source. It's easier to buy the products. And also your sell-through, this is also very important. We are begging for buy box on this listing to get sales. Like, we need to be in buy box to move through. We also need to be in buy box here, but in this situation, we are spread out across 10 different ASINs, so not just on one ASIN. So one day we're in buy box on 2 listings. The next day we're on buy box on 3 listings. Then we're on 4, and then we're on all of them. And and that's how we're seeing that consistency. That's why you're going to see sales looking nice and consistent versus with this other one day you have 10 sales, right? If you're lucky, then you have 1 sale, then you have no sales, then you have 5 sales. It's all over the place. Then you sell out and you're done. Versus here, we should see, a pretty consistent flow of sales coming in every single day, getting that consistency. And it's much easier to predict and also scale because, again, going back to the orders, going back to the sourcing, and also the sell through. This is just what I've seen in my eyes and what I've seen through all these listings over the last couple of years and people that I help with is simply, let me get rid of this. This makes our lives much, much easier as Amazon sellers. It's just focus on these types of things. And if we see this little chart demonstration here, essentially what we are looking to do here is to optimize our catalog over time with a lot of different products. So, right, these slower movers, we don't need that many units of, but they're making us 37%, 60%, 23, 38. And we build up this big catalog versus just having one that's making us a lot of money. And let's just say that one product goes out and now we can't sell it anymore. And it's 100% of our catalog. And now it's just gone because they run out of stock or something happens. You get an IP. Your whole business is out. And I've made so many videos on this specifically, but those are things that you need to consider. And this is why we go for this approach over the other one. And if you are not seeing sales and you only have one ASIN, that is 100% why you're seeing that. And look, this stuff works. This is Alex's 3rd month and he's already at $40,000 and we're not even done with the month yet. He's probably going to finish right around 50K. You can see his sales are climbing exponentially. He is going very wide. We have a bunch of different products. He is not thinking about order cancels. We are not thinking about anything else. There's no reason to panic when products aren't selling through because there's so many different products that are selling throughout the day. Some days it's these products that have a lot of sales. Some days it's the other products that have a lot of sales. But we're finding products easily because we're not trying to find crazy home run products because we don't need to. We find a lot of decent products, and those decent products are going to give you high ROI, and you're going to sell through quick, and you're not going to sit on the inventory, and you can scale very fast. Alex is a beast, okay? Don't get me wrong. Not everyone sees results like this, and most people are not going to see results like this. This is maybe 1%, someone that can hit $40,000 by their 3rd month, but it's hard work, it's dedication, and it's following the system the correct way, doing it in a way that's sustainable, okay? Now, other issues you're going to be having, especially if you are brand new and you have no idea what you're really looking into, you're misreading variation listings, okay? As you look at a product like this on Amazon, right, you would see 300 plus a month sold. So you think, yeah, this is great. However, what you fail to realize is this listing right here has a ton of different listings, a ton of different variations. So this product does not sell 300 times a month in a white size 2, but it sells 300 times a month with all of these combined. That's essentially how fast a product is selling. It's not going to tell us for sure. Now, Amazon will give us a little stamp right here and tell us if it's selling. For this specific size, it's not giving us a stamp, which means it's selling less than 50 a month. So if you go to a variation that you find profitable, but there's no stamp here, just know that one is selling less than 50 times a month. So how do you actually figure out if your listing that you're trying to sell under actually is selling a month? Now, in order to pull this page up, you're simply going to go to Keepa. There's going to be a variations tab. And then you are going to see all of this information. So as we look at a product that looks like this, what I'm looking for is to make sure that the rating is climbing. This indicates sales. And also that the offers are falling. This also indicates sales. Combine those two things and you know that the product's selling. The one that you found is going to be making sales. So you can go ahead and buy that product and send it in. So if you see a listing that has a completely flat rating, let's say it's not climbing, and you see that the offer count is also very flat, that product might still be selling, but it's going to be selling extremely, extremely slow. You can then go ahead and head on over to the data tab on Amazon, or sorry, on Keepa. data, then go over to offers, and you can see if anyone is displaying sales. So I don't have a picture of it here, but you can actually see people's stock history. It'll look something like this. And if it's completely flat, or if it looks somewhat like it's falling down, this would indicate sales. This would not indicate sales. Now, this is also misleading because some people hide their stock. It could be that, but that's some things that you need to look at before you buy the product. So if you're selling a lot of variation listings, you're not seeing sales, double check this. Good chance that those products that you're trying to sell are not selling, or you're simply just not pricing competitively to be getting sales. Going back up here, we need to always be pricing our products competitively to be getting sales. If you're not, then that's why you're not getting sales, and that's just the easiest fix. Now, another thing could be you're not getting buy box rotation. Now, I want to go over very simple terms, red flags and green flags. These are the only things that you need to consider for buy box. Okay. If the brand is in the listing, that's a big red flag. If there's large sellers in the listing, that's a big red flag. Now, the reason for this, because these sellers are going to have high stock. If they have high stock, they're going to have a lot of rotation. Most arbitrage listings won't really have these on them anyways, and you should honestly avoid them. So you don't really need to worry about it too much, but sometimes you'll find products that are, and I personally like to pass on them. Now, another red flag is if there's multiple competitive sellers. Let's say there's 5 people on the listing. So we got 5 sellers. Okay. They're all priced at $20, but for some reason, only 2 sellers are getting any buy box. Okay. But they're all priced at $20. They're all competitive, but only 2 sellers are getting buy box. This is a massive, massive red flag. This means that these 2 sellers are probably bigger sellers. They have way too much stock, and everyone, if that's competitive, should be getting rotation. If they're not, then that's a red flag, and I'd pass on that product. And if you're selling on a listing that looks like that, you're not getting sales, you're not getting rotation. That's why that's a simple thing that you just missed as you were sourcing products. Now, a green flag would be smaller sellers on the list. So you have the buy box rotation on Keepa. You see a lot of sellers, and you see sellers with low reviews. That's a really good green flag. Same thing, lots of sellers on the listing. And the other thing is everyone that's competitive on the list is getting rotation. So if you see people that aren't on that list, but they're not priced competitively, well, that would explain why they're not on the list. I wouldn't consider that a red flag. That would be fine. The biggest thing is looking for smaller sellers on the list and lots of sellers on the list. That's a very good green flag that I'd go in and say, okay, this is a good product. Now, another thing that you could be ignoring, and this goes back to the 90% RTR here, is you're ignoring product cycles. Okay, just because a product is good today does not mean that you should be automatically restocking everything. This is why we use a tool like Sellerboard, because Sellerboard is going to be able to tell us how profitable we are. If we're really profitable, once we sell through, we go look at that listing again on Amazon, and we want to reanalyze that product and make sure that nothing crazy has changed. So what would be crazy? It would be any listing that has a massive increase in offers. So let's say the day you bought it, it had 10, today it has 30 or it has 20. Then that would be something to consider, and maybe you'd still want to buy it because it still looks good, but you would still go in with a test buy. I wouldn't stock it deep unless that data looks pretty much identical to what it looked like the day you ordered it. And this is why we track when we're ordering stuff, because when it's time to restock, let's say I ordered this September 10th, I can go back to Keepa, go back to September 10th, take a quick glimpse of what that chart looked like compared to what it looks like today. And if it looks the exact same, then I can truly place an order for about the amount of units I would need for a month, right? Which I would know based on my sales data. Versus if I take a screenshot of that product when the day I bought it, September 10th, and now I take a picture of it today and I compare, and now the price is down $2. There's been 20 new offers. The sales rank has gone from selling about 500 a month, now it sells 200 a month. I need to treat that order like another test order. I can't just be going crazy deep on it. So you got to fully reanalyze products before you order it. And if you are buying a product you sell through, it sells great, and then you reorder a ton of units because it did extremely well, but now you're not seeing those same sales, that would explain likely why. There's no reason you wouldn't be getting the same amount of sales if the data looks the exact same. That's very, very, very important as you're scaling and you're trying to restock more products, because next thing you know, if you're not doing that, you're buying a ton of units and now you're sitting on a bunch of stuff because it doesn't look as good when you should just place another test order in case something would have changed. And again, this goes right back to focusing on building a nest of products, because as we are building these nests out and products drop and we're not restocking them, we are tracking them as they are coming back up in price. We are ordering them, and then we always have, so pretty much what it looks like after a couple months is every single day you have products that you're getting pinged for that are resurfacing that you're buying. You have VA buying, and then if you need to spend another couple $100 because you're tracking your spend, you can go ahead and source. But now instead of sourcing $1,500 worth of products, you have to source $300 worth of products because you have 1,000 coming from your products that are resurfacing, and you have 200 coming from your VA, and then now you have to spend a little bit more money. This is what's building that sustainable. That is this system in a whole. look, my whole YouTube page is literally all about building that sustainable model where you can really step out and like allow the business to work for you and cash flow. That's what my whole channel is about. If you want my help implementing this system for you, you want me to come on, get on Zoom with you, find products together, build out your store, show you everything as far as sourcing, product analysis, hiring the VA, every system that I run in my business, there's a Calendly link down below. Booking a call, we'll chat. I'm just going to give you a demo of what that looks like, explain it in a bit more detail, and if it's a good fit and you actually want to build this business and you want to do it right the first time, then we can get started right away. But it has to be a good fit for both of us. That's also why that call is there. Since I do work one-on-one, we got to make sure that we're both on board. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next. I'm thinking about making a high budget versus low budget strategy because the two are completely different, and I think it'd be beneficial for anyone that either has more money or has less money to play with when it comes to building out this business. And that's it today. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.